You want to know something really cool, Vortex? I ran into two of my church friends at the grocery store immediately after our ridiculously long church service. And I'm pretty sure that the church service tomorrow and Friday is going to be even longer. That's why I love Lent. Like, we have a church service every single day for like a month and a half. I love it. I love just the level of commitment, you know? Like, when I was a raging alcoholic and I was stealing shit, like, I was, shoplifting compulsively. And I remember thinking, when I was doing that eventually I was going to become a Christian. Like, it was sort of like something that I said to myself, like, to rationalize what I was doing. Like, oh, don't worry, Amy, eventually, like, this lifestyle is going to be a thing of the past, and you're going to devote your life to God. And it's so crazy to think about. Like, when you're knee-deep in bad behaviors and you're doing all kinds of stuff that's really terrible for you, it just seems kind of out of the question that you would, eventually turn away from that. But the fact that I kind of had that realization when I was in that kind of a lifestyle, I think just proves how intuitive I am. But I'm really lucky, though. Really, really lucky. Jesus was crucified next to a thief, and the thief repented. And Jesus said to him, "Verily I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." And I can't even handle that. Like, every time I think about that, it makes me so emotional, because I feel like he was talking to me. And I know a lot of people don't understand, like, why do you need to be forgiven? Like, why do you think there's something wrong with you? Why? Because we're fallen, we're broken. And you can blame yourself for that, you can blame your parents for that, you can blame the world for that. It doesn't matter. You're broken, okay? So, turning to religion or turning to some sort of spiritual entity for salvation is not that fucking crazy, dude. Because life is really, really hard without that. And while I understand that it probably seems like some sort of weakness, like, why do you need God? Why do you need a psychiatrist? Booyah! I think that we are born with this notion of God. And it's actually the world that, like, beats it out of us. And I think a lot of it, you know, because the churches have been so corrupted, and there are a lot of religious people that are really, really corrupt. And I think it's really easy for people to just write it off as a bunch of bullshit and like, oh, those people are a bunch of hypocrites. What I find so annoying about this argument is you act like people aren't hypocrites outside of church. You act like people aren't hypocrites or pedophiles or anything bad outside of church. Now, I realize, though, you have a point. You definitely have a point, and I agree with the point that you're making. That, you know, if you say you believe in God, and this, you know, this is why I'm opposed to the state of Israel. The so-called Holy Land that doesn't act very holy. Well, the thing is, like, my conscience tells me not to support that. It doesn't matter what my politics tell me. My conscience tells me, no, that's not right. So, I don't care what names you want to call me. But the fact that, like, conservatives would call you a communist or a leftist or something, all because you don't support the annihilation of an entire population because of some terrorist group that was more than likely established by the same piece of shit government, okay? Like, how are you any different than, like, somebody on the left that's obsessed with identity politics that's going to call you a racist, or they're going to call you a homophobe or a transphobe or something like that, all because you don't think that genital mutilation is good, or you don't think that black people should always get a pass, you know, every time they do something fucked up, all because slavery happened. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot that, and I think that with all politics and all religion, it's just this war against consciousness. Like, so people can claim that they're conscious of, like, conscious of certain things, but other things they're not conscious of, and, you know, it's just a big old mess. But I don't know. I'm just not easily persuaded. Like, I remember when I was younger and I was super liberal, it was literally because I was against the Iraq War. So I'm not going to just suddenly be in favor of war all because, you know, I thought Trump was good at one point. Fuck Trump. Sorry, I don't want to be one of those people, but I can't believe that his supporters, like, can't see how full of shit he is. But then again, it's like, one of the reasons why politics is so bad is because it's like you're just ignoring, like, an entire section of reality all because it doesn't go along with your said beliefs, which is so fucking wrong and immoral on so many levels. So, once again, anarchy is the only position, alright? Really is. And I mean, I would suggest, like, coming up with a new party or something, but that's stupid too, because that would get corrupted as well. That would definitely get corrupted. So if the system is the problem, then that just means that we need to do what we're doing outside of the system. I mean, I get in arguments with people in my church over Donald Trump, and, you know, I really don't care how much of a cynic I sound, because people will always accuse you of being cynical if, like, you can see a reality that they can't. But You know, that ain't my problem that you're fucking blind, honey.